Hey guys, so welcome back. Today we are going to, it's a bit of a continuation from our last tutorial, which was editing background music in Breath of the Wild. And today we are going to work on editing bars files. So what is a bar file? It's just another type of sound audio file that Breath of the Wild uses. And so the process to get the audio out of the file is a little bit different from what we did with the background music. But yeah, I'm going to walk you through step by step. It's a little bit more complicated than the background music editing. And what kind of files are bars files? So you'll find them for all of Link's audio files, all of his screaming and grunting and jumping noises. Anything Link does is a bar file. All sound effects are bars files, I'm pretty sure. So in-game enemy sounds to user interface, sound effects, things like that. Those are all going to be bars files. So yeah, you're going to want to use this process and go through it step by step to extract the audio and do your editing that you want to do, and then inject that audio back into the proper files and back into the game itself. So yeah, that's the gist of what we're going to be doing in this tutorial. Pretty much if you want to edit any sound effects in the game, you're in the right place. So stick around and just follow along step by step through the process. If you have any problems, make sure to comment down in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to try to help you out. Alternatively, of course, you can jump onto Discord, and we're going to need a lot of tools for this tutorial today. So I'm going to have everything linked in the description as well. This is also a somewhat modified version of Fooni's tutorial on how to import custom voices over Link's voice in Breath of the Wild. That tutorial covers everything that you need to know, except for how to actually unpack all the files. So I'm going to walk through that as well. So, you know, from the very beginning to the finish line, we're going to work through it together. And yeah, so let's jump right into it and get moving, because it can take a little bit of time to get this process down. Alright, so where do you start? Well, you need to pick a file. You have to decide what it is you want to edit or mod within the game, right? So let's pull out a copy of the game. It's right here. We want to go into content. Now, of course, all the voice work is in voice. These are the streamed files that we covered during the background editing tutorial, which I'll link above. Also, I think some of them can be found here in sound, in the sound directory. I think there's some streaming as well. You can go into resources. These are all bars files. So just like I was saying before, any sound effects in the game, a lot of them are bars files. Echo Ballad 1, 2, 3, 4. I think those are the accordion tracks that Cast plays. Scroll through, you have, you know, animal, wild duck, squirrel, rhino. I don't remember ever seeing a rhino in the game. I'm gonna have to look for that one again. But yeah, just general sound effects, right, guys? So, but what I want to do today is something a little bit different. So we're gonna bounce out of here. I just wanted to show this to you guys so you knew, for the most part, a lot of bars files are in here. But we're going to do something a little bit different. It's a little bit more complicated because it introduces an extra step and extra tool to be able to do it. But what we're going to do is edit the game over music. So sometimes you'll be playing the game and you'll be met with the unfortunate fate of dying. And I'm sure you've seen it before. Link collapses to the ground and then you get that infamous game over screen. And there's a little bit of music that plays as that screen fades to black. And I'm going to bring it up for you right now just so you can hear what I'm talking about, because this is actually going to be the track that we edit in this tutorial. Now, of course, if you don't want to go through the process and edit the game over track, no worries, the process is still going to be exactly the same. You're just going to be grabbing the bars file from somewhere else within the game data. Alright, so here we are, and I've gotten Link down to a quarter heart left, and I'm going to kill him just so you guys can hear that end game jingle, even though I'm pretty certain most of you know what it sounds like, but we want to come full circle here. We're going to come back to this and kill him again once we've edited the files. Here we go. Let's kill him with a bomb. Alright, so there we have it. Let's quit the game. We'll just close out of Cemu completely, and we're gonna go back to the process. So let's do it. So for the end game sound specifically, it's actually buried in another file. It's actually in a pack file here. So we want to go into content and down to pack, and it's actually in the bootup.pack file. So let's copy this over, and we're going to create a new directory. And I've actually already created this directory. So let's pull it over. I've called it game over because that's what we're going to do. Open this up. I've got my tools, most of my tools zipped up here. But again, I'm gonna have links to all the tools that you need down in the description below. So make sure to follow along in there as well. I'm gonna have everything timestamped to make this process very easy for you guys. And the timestamps are going to be both in the description as well as in a pinned comment. So trying to make this as easy as possible. So I've created a new directory called original file. It's best to always back up your files. I just find it's so easy to make mistakes here and there, and then instead of having to repeat the entire procedure from the start, you can just go back to your last backup. So let's go into original file and paste our pack file there. The next thing that you're going to want to do is open up a tool called Wexo's Toolbox. That is going to let us read this pack file and actually extract the game over data that we need. So let's do that right now. Alright, so here's Wexo's Toolbox. This is the updated version 1.0.2.7. So it's really good to know that if you've never used this tool before, you're probably going to download, I think it's, what is it? 1.0.2.2 or something. I don't know. It's an older version at any rate. And you're going to want to make sure that when you unzip this folder directory, you right click on the zip file, you go to properties, and you're going to see a little checkbox that says unblock the file before you extract the file. So if you unblock it, you're probably not going to have any problems. If you don't unblock the file, there's a good chance that you're going to have issues and that it will crash if you're trying to read a pack file or something like that. I've also found that it's really important to be connected to the internet and to right click and open it as an administrator. Now I think Wexo's Toolbox needs to be connected to the internet for some specific reason. It probably has something built in, checking for updates or something like that. I've had issues when I wasn't connected to the internet, so just save yourself a little bit of headache and follow these instructions and you should be fine. Alright, so what we're going to do next is actually open up this pack file. So just go to File, hit Open, and open up your pack file. So this is the pack file opened up. Let's open up that tree, stretch this out a little bit more. Now usually when you're in a pack file and you've never been in there before, you have to go through the process of scanning through each and every single one of these line by line, trying to find what you're looking for. It can be a little bit tedious. You know, if you're searching for something and it hasn't been documented anywhere, just ask in the community. It's very likely that somebody else is going to know where it is. If not, you might have to do a little bit of trial and error before you find what you're looking for. But yeah, we know it's a .bars file that we're after because those are the other types of audio files that the game uses. I'm not sure what m_UI is. UI implies that it's user interface. I know that there's a few of these in the boot up pack file, but I also know, because I've done this before, where the game over music is, and strangely enough it's in a file called m_static prefetch.bars. So if you're going to edit the game over effects like we're doing in this tutorial, you're going to want to right click on this file and hit export and save this out to your testing directory. Now when this opens up, you don't need sound/resource/ the file name, so just highlight the folder structure, delete that out, and we're gonna just save it to the original file directory. Now we can keep Wexo's Toolbox open for now, because once we get through the process of editing the file, the game over sound file within this static prefetch.bars file, we're actually going to use Wexo's Toolbox again to re-inject our new bars file in place of the original here, and that's how our mod works. So let's just minimize this for now and move on to the next step. Alright, so now we have our original bars file from the game data that was sitting inside the bootup.pack. So how do we get the files outside of .bars so we can actually play around with it and make our mod? Well, we have that backed up, of course, into original file, but what we need is one of our tools. We need the bar extractor. So let's unzip this here, and again, I'm going to have the download links to all of these tools in the description, so you just follow the link and download the tool. And if for some strange reason the link isn't working, we're also going to have the tool links over at the Zelda Breath of the Wild modding Reddit page, as well as the Zelda Breath of the Wild modding hub on Discord. So just follow along, and again, if you have any problems, just let me know. But what we want right now is this bars extractor. So let's open this up and extract this to our directory and open up this file just so you can take a look at it. So it's just a Python script. And the cool thing about this is that if you're running the most recent version of Python, which should be 3.6, I think, 3.7. I think I have 3.6 installed. You can always just go to Python and download that, install that on your system. What we need to do now is take our original file. I'm going to open this up in another window because check this out. Original file, our bars extractor. We can just take this static prefetch.bars, click and drag it over on top of our bars extractor.python file and let go. And there we go. Now we have extracted this bars file. So let's take all of this data, and I'm gonna break this down for you in a second. We're gonna cut this and bring this up to the root directory, create a new folder, and we're gonna call this extracted bars data. Let's paste that in there, make this a little bit easier to read. So we can see from the get-go, a lot of these are bfstp files. Some of them BGM, background, that's background music, of course, a different type of audio file by the looks of it. I've yet to actually dig into these, but they almost look like a different type of streaming audio file. So might get into that in another future tutorial. But for right now, what we want is right here, m_static prefetch _BGM, so background music, it's just a different type, _demo _game over .bfwav. So that's the file format that we want, bfwav. We're gonna copy this file and just bring this up to the top and paste it right here. We'll move this over. That's the master file that we want. But of course, we don't have any way to manipulate a bfwav file right now, so we need to do something about that. Well, it just so happens that there are a couple of different media player apps out there that have a set of plugins that will let us do just that. Down here, I have Winamp, or the Winamp Community Update Pack is actually installed. There's a set of plugins for this, and there's also a set of plugins for Foobar. So we're actually going to use Foobar 2000 today. So let's click on that and open it up. You can see in here I've already played around with some of the audio files from the game. Let's delete those out of the way. And again, there will be a link to Foobar 2000 to download in the description. So what we actually want to use today is Foobar 2000. But in its default state, foobar 2000 won't actually let you read the game files, of course. So like I mentioned, you need to install the plugin, and a link to that will also be in the description. And the installation process for that is actually really simple. All you have to do is download the package and follow the instructions and reboot the app, and you're set to go. So I'm not going to go over that because it's really easy to do. But we're just going to open this up and continue. And of course, if you need any help, just let me know and I'll help you with it. Let's bring this bfwav file into foobar 2000, and of course the plugin is already installed. All we want to do is right click on the track, go down to convert, and choose default. And then of course we want to go to our testing directory and save this file out, and there it is, .wav. It's going to convert the bfwav to a .wav. Hit save. And then we can close out this dialog box and then close out foobar 2000. So let's get an idea of the length of this file, because what we're going to want to do is find another audio sample to match somewhat the same length of time that this plays for. Because the thing about the bars files versus the background music, Zelda Breath of the Wild will let you play any length of file, and it doesn't matter the size of it for the background files. But when it comes to something like the bars files, it's a completely different beast. You have to be very specific with the audio sample that you choose to replace the original game sound with. That means we have to be mindful of the actual memory that this file takes up, so we can see that this game over WAV file takes up 751 kilobytes. And I believe it's about 5 or 6 seconds. So let's open this up in Audacity and take a look. Alright, here we are in Audacity, and we can just give it a play. Alright, it's a pretty short audio file. It's really only about 4 seconds long, but as you can see it trails off and goes to 6 seconds there. So we're looking to match this. So let's find something online. You can find it on YouTube, you can take an MP3, you can take a sample from pretty much anything to put in here, and you can do that for any sound effect in the game. So I'm going to find something and we're going to match it up here and then continue forward. Alright, so I've downloaded a Super Mario Brothers Game Over sound effect from the original Mario Brothers game. I'm going to bring this into Audacity just so we can take a look at it. Let's mute this original one. Let's mute you. Solo you. Alright, so it's a little bit loud. We can edit this and do, pretty much anything that we want to do to this audio file here in Audacity. That's outside the scope of this tutorial, so I'm going to leave it up to you to figure out how to do things like that. But the main goal here is to make sure that these audio tracks match in length duration. So again, I'm going to leave that up to you. This one's about 6 seconds in length. I'm going to go through the process of editing this down and choosing what I want to keep from it, and probably lower the decibel level on this, and we'll continue forward from there. Alright, so I've made my edits to the audio file here. The main thing to keep in mind is that we want this file to either directly match the original audio file, the amount of memory that it takes up, or it can be less than. It cannot exceed it, otherwise you're going to have an issue. Zelda's probably going to crash. You can play around with it. You might be able to pull off to a certain extent, a certain amount of memory over the original data file size, but it's safe just to try to keep it matching. This is going to be a little bit less in length, in duration, than the original audio file, and if the size of the file once I export it is actually greater than the original file, you can pull a little trick to reduce the size of the file itself. Usually the best thing to do is just save it out as a lower bit rate, and you can do that through Audacity or pretty much any other app. So we're gonna move on from there and import this new file into the game. So let's just save this out. We can export this audio file. We can just exit that one out actually. With this one selected, we'll export audio. And just temporarily, we're gonna name this new underscore and then the file name. And we can close out Audacity. If you made it this far, congratulations, we're halfway through the tutorial. So let's keep powering forward. Now I'm going to take my original MP3 of the Super Mario music, the Game Over sound, and I'm going to delete that because I don't need that anymore. Now the next step that we want to do is take this new .wav file, and of course this has the name of the original file, which is right up here. This is the new one, this is the old one. We want to turn this back into a bfwav file. So how do we do that? Let's go over that process right now. What we want to do is use this very handy little program called nw4f_waveconverter.exe. I'll have a link to that down in the description as well. So you want to take our new file, we're going to click and drag it over top of this exe and let go. It's going to do its thing. You can see that it's outputted the new bfwav file right here, but it's a little bit different than the one we originally had that we originally extracted from our bars file that came from our bootup.pack file, in that it has this ds.pad ds.pad pcm extension. So we want to delete that. So just hit F2. We're going to rename this. Let's just backspace out of there. We're going to hit enter. We want it to be named properly. And of course, it still has the new at the beginning. We're going to get rid of that as well in just a moment. But this is the next step, and it's now completed. We have our bfwav file. So all we're doing is backpedaling and going back towards the original pack file. So what's next? Well, we have to get this bfwav file back into the original .bars configuration of files, and we have to make sure that all matches properly. So we have our original extracted bars data right here. I'm going to copy this and paste this because I like to have copies of things. I'm going to rename this extracted bars data for injection. Let's just call it bars data for injection because that makes a little bit more sense. Let's go in there and take a look at it just as a little bit of a refresher as to what it looks like. And again, here it is. Since we have the backup of the original file, what we want to do next is find our game over file. Here it is. Let's just delete this because we don't want this. We're actually replacing this file. So you can just delete it. Make note, it's 214 kilobytes. Let's delete that. Go back up to our root directory. Here's our new one. Just make sure the file size, this is 207 kilobytes, so we're under, and that's good, that's what we want to be. Under or at the same file size. Let's cut this, put it into extracted bars data, we'll paste it in here. Now of course, this has to match the original file name or you're going to have major problems, so let's hit F2 again and rename this back to its original name, which is just m_static prefetch _bgm _demo _game over _ I don't know why there's an underscore at the end, but there is. So you want to make sure that it matches properly and hit enter. Alright, so there's our newly replaced bfwav file. Let's go back up a directory. Now what we want to do is take all this data within the extracted bars file, and this is ready for injection, but we need another tool to do that. So that's what we're going to do next. So this next part can be a little bit confusing, but we'll try to keep it really simple. Let me close out this nw4f wave converter tool because we don't need this anymore. And let's create a new directory for a new tool, for a new process here. And of course, this is going to be the process of injecting all these extracted bars data, but with our change here into the original format of .bars. So let's create a new directory and let's just call it bar injector. Bar injector. There we go. Okay, that's good. So we need tools. Where are our tools that we need? Let's go in here. We need something called repackbars.py. It's another Python script. And of course, the link to that will also be in the description. We need that. We need a folder called new, a folder called old. Alright, so we need some files because we have to populate this with data for the Python script to actually use. So what we're going to do is put the original bfwav file in old. We're going to put our new bfwav file, the edited one, under new. Then at the root, beside the repackbars Python script, we want the original .bars file. And I'll explain how this works in just a moment. So let's populate this up. Let's go up here. Bars data for injection. This was just to set it up so you know what it looks like, but the tool's going to do this for us. So let's take this file, go up to our bar injector. That's our new. Let's put it in there. Go back up to our root. Extracted bars data. That was the original file. Let's copy that. We're gonna go back into our bar injector directory and paste the original bfwav file into the old directory here. Go back up to the root directory. There's just one thing missing, the original .bars file. There it is, m_static prefetch.bars. Let's copy this because this is our backup directory. Go back in here and paste it to the root. So this is what it should look like. Just go over it one more time. In the new directory, we have our edited .bfwav file. In the old directory, we have the original bfwav file that we extracted from the original .bars file. And of course, we have the original .bars file, m_static prefetch.bars, which we pulled from the bootup.pack file. And again, not all of the bars files are in bootup.pack. This was just a little bit of an extra step. Usually you would just have to deal with your bars file, which you pull from the game data directly. Alright, so let's go through the process of packing this back up. What we want to do is go up here and hit CMD to bring up the command prompt. And we need commands to run for the repack bars Python script. So we want to type in repackbars.py, but of course you can just type in R or RE and then hit tab. We don't have anything else in this directory that matches this, so it's going to bring the closest name up, and there it is. We want to hit space. Now you want the name of our bars file, which is m_static prefetch.bars. Let's just hit M and then tab. And now we want to do a space, the name of the directory where the original bfwav is, which is old, so let's do that, and hit space, and then the directory of the new file where our changes are, which is new. And what this Python script is going to do is look at the original data within the .bars, the original .bars file, and it's going to compare the old and the new files, and it's going to make sure that the new modified file doesn't exceed the file size of the old bfwav inside of that .bars file. If it does, it's going to cause problems for the game, so you don't want that. Let's hit enter. And there we go. We have a new file called output.bars. And the response from the script is telling us that m_static prefetch _ etc., the game over bfwav file was successfully written to output.bars. So that's great. We're so close to testing this, guys. So congratulations for making it this far. We can close this cmd command prompt. We don't need it anymore. So the next thing we want to do is actually inject this .bars file into our original .pack, because that's where the game over file originally came from. So if you remember at the beginning of the tutorial, I asked you to keep Wexo's Toolbox open because we're going to replace this file and then resave out this pack file. But there's still a problem here, and that's that we need to rename this output.bars file to the original mstatic prefetch. So let's just rename this to old_, and then we're gonna take the file name and copy it. So that's the old one. We're gonna rename output to the proper file name and hit enter. And there we go, that's our new .bars file. Let's go back to Wexos and replace this static prefetch bars file. So we're gonna right click on it and go down to replace and replace it with that new file. Now it's been successfully replaced. Let's go up to File and save out this .pack file. Make sure you go to your working directory, and we're just going to call this bootup.pack. Hit save. It's going to tell you that it's been successfully saved. Hit OK. And let's close out Wexo's Toolbox and head over to Cemu and actually test this file. And of course, this is the payoff. This is what we've been working for. Alright, here we are in Cemu. So you want to bring this to your testing directory. And we originally got this bootup.pack file from content, and it's underneath the pack directory. Now I already have one here that I've been playing with, so I have this backed up. Because I don't want to mess with what I was playing with originally in my own mod pack that I'm currently building. So you want to copy this new bootup.pack to the pack directory, and we're going to paste that in like that. Then we're going to go back up to the root directory of Cemu and start up Cemu and start our game. Alright, here we are back at Gerudo Tower, and of course Link is down to 1/4 of a heart, and we're gonna be sick twisted people and make Link blow himself up again, and we should hear our new modified game over track. So let's pull out a bomb, and I'll bring the audio levels up here so you can hear it. Let's drop the bomb and blow Link up. And there you have it. We finally made it to the end of the tutorial. So congratulations, and yeah, you've made it. You're finally at the end of it. The process is going to be the same regardless of what type of bars file you use. Yeah, and if you get caught up on anything, again, make sure to leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to try to help you out. You can alternatively jump into the Kingdom of Geeks Discord server and send me a DM. You can also go to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild modding hub on Discord. And of course, links to all these resources, all the tools, as well as the timestamps for this entire tutorial, everything can be found in the description. Again, I'm also going to post the timestamps down in the comments below and pin it so everybody can see it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild modding tutorial. Again, this has been modding sound effects, more specifically .bars files. But yeah, I hope this has been a lot of help to you guys. And I think that's pretty much a wrap on sound for the most part. Moving forward, I have a whole pile of tutorials for you guys, so I'm going to keep, pounding those out, and yeah, trying to get all this stuff out into the community to help you guys make some awesome mods. So until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep your fire burning and stay true. Peace.